Welcome back to Studio 10. Happy Monday, friends. A local stand-up comedian has been making people laugh and smile with shows across the U.S. In fact, he just got back from one tour. He's going to tell you all about that, and now you can check out the new album from Killer Beaz. Don't ever touch anybody you don't know. We're going to find out more about it from Killer Beaz himself, but you literally have only been home like 11 hours.
At 7 this morning when I was up getting ready to come over, I had been in for 11 hours, and I'm just so frazzled and so tickled and having such a good time, man, that it's just a neat thing. We got in, I think I was in Nashville this weekend, but the last month has been Orlando, Tucson, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Birmingham, Nashville, and then a side trip for a funeral for my dear friend, comedian Tim Wilson, who passed away last week. So it has been a very strong, very intense batch of touring, but I get to make people laugh and smile for a living. So,
that's right.
So there is some payback there. I get a lot back out of it. So that's been very, very cool.
And speaking of, this is something, when you were little, you grew up in a funeral home, and you decided when you were 4 years old, I want to make people laugh. You made that a goal.
Well, I tell you, and it's such a weird story. I had the run of this funeral home. We lived in a funeral home in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, and I was a toddler, and I had the run of the place and realized when I was little bitty that these sad people that I would see come and go, that I could make them smile by just doing cute little funny stuff. And so I swear to you, I think that is part of my compulsion to this day, to make people laugh and smile. I have a real hard time being around stoic people because they kind of unnerve me. You know, I want people to show the joy and the hope that we're all supposed to have.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it is such a cool thing to take on the challenge of going on stage and doing it, which is very hard to do. And to this day, I've done it 30 years. I've done 6,000 performances, and it still scares me to death. Man, I get a knot in my stomach and my palms sweat, you know, because I want to be...
What's the scary part? Is it just being in front of people? I have a fear of that. Like being in front of crowds, I freeze up really quickly.
Dude, I want it to be great. Well, that's one of my things. Sometimes to a fault, I care about what goes on when I'm on stage. And it's not what I think, if it's not a stellar performance or a stellar response, even if I do well, if it's not just bad to the bone, then that hurts my feelings and embarrasses me. And if I can be in a sold-out showroom, and if there's one person not laughing, it unnerves me.
You're hard on yourself. I feel you.
Well, I just feel like you've got to do that, you know. I feel so lucky and blessed to get to do it for a living. I was on stage in Nashville. It was a sold-out show. The bottom floor, the balcony, and the room was just exploding. Everything out of my mouth. And there was one guy right in the middle that wasn't laughing. I'm like, oh, my gosh. And I was wigging. I mean, I was doing my show dead at this guy. Oh, yeah. And I'm looking him in the eye, and I'm pouring it out, and he's just sitting there. And I'm like, dang it.
It affected you that much?
It did. I got done with the show, and I'm in the green room pitching my little fit. Everybody's like, dude, that was a great show. I'm like, this guy wasn't laughing, and they thought it was funny. They're like, you're out of your mind. There was a knock on the door to the green room. I opened the door. The guy was standing there, and in this real thick accent, and I can't do accents, he goes, I enjoyed your show. I am from France, and I couldn't understand. And then I felt like an idiot because I had sat there and tortured myself, going, "Man, you're terrible. You need to practice," you know. And the guy was from France.
It's incredible that one person affected you that much, but you are hard on yourself, and that's what's kept you going for so many years. Thinking back to you starting being so young and wanting to make people smile, do you remember the first thing you said, did, joke you told to make someone laugh?
Dude, I remember the first laugh I ever got in my life was in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, 1957, something like that. We were at church, and it was old-timey Mississippi, all-white church, one of these scenarios. The missionaries had gone to Africa and come back, and they had a film of where they've been. It was like an 8mm silent, you know, and we're sitting there watching it, and it showed some of the tribes people in their everyday life, and it showed this lady, this tribal lady, sitting in a chair, doing something with her hands, but she was shelling peas, y'all, with her toes.
What?
And I was at the size for, you know how when kids stand in the pew? I'm standing there, and my daddy leans over to me when it showed this lady and goes, "There's your mama," like that. So I yelled out in this church, "There's mama," and everybody just screamed.
No, you
It was,
didn't.
and to this day, I remember that concussive roar, that kapow of everybody just bam, screaming and laughing, and that has stuck with me my entire life. So
That was it. You were addicted.
I was addicted to it then.
Needed to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Now, your latest album is out. Very funny. So tell us a little bit about this.
Well, one, praise the Lord and praise everybody who has stuck with me. It is a Warner Brothers release. And to get an album out on Warner Brothers is a huge deal. That's very hard to do. The line to be the next Warner Brothers guy is 4 miles long.
I bet.
So luckily I've been in the business forever, and we got it out. It's entitled "Don't Ever Touch Anybody You Don't Know." It is iTunes, Amazon.com, Walmart, Target, Best Buy. Put on your sleep pants and your Crocs. Go to Walmart, get my record. It should be under the K for killer. Might be B for bees. We're not sure.
I guess there's a story behind this. Don't ever touch anybody you don't know.
I was at an airport and a lady came up to me. I was at baggage claim, standing by the little turning thing, waiting for the Walmart sacks to come out. And this lady comes up to me. She's talking to me. She's like up in my space. I could feel her nose air hitting my
That's
sleeve.
close, yeah,
And it was
I know.
hot, like she had diphtheria. You know, I'm like, dang, typhoid Mary, you're chicken winging my arm. So anyway, she just stood there staring, and you know how you overcompensate when you're, you know, on the spot. I looked down, Cherish, and there was like a dog hair on her sweater. So I'm trying to be nice. I go, "Let me get that." I pulled it. It was hooked to her neck.
What?
It was like a neck mole hair that was sticking through the fabric. Looked like German Shepherd. It was brown out on the tip.
No.
So when I pulled it, it came out of my fingers. And I just thought it was hung up in the fabric. So I kept pulling it, and every time I pulled it, her left eye would shut halfway like that.
And
So
she didn't,
don't.
she didn't say anything?
Oh, she turned red as a beet. We were all freaking out, you know. She finally just kind of walked off, maybe to get scissors. I don't know.
Oh, no.
But don't ever touch anybody you don't know was the hard-learned lesson.
That is a good lesson. And you can get Killer Beaz' album, Don't Ever Touch Anybody You Don't Know. It's online. All of these social media platforms, how you can follow Twitter Beaz. I just saw Twitter.
Hey, I've got 10.5 thousand Twitter followers.
I think I just renamed you Twitter Beaz.
That's going to be my next
Killer Beaz.
record.
You can follow Killer Beaz on Twitter, Facebook, get his new album, Don't Ever Touch Anybody You Don't Know. I had a blast with you this
Oh,
morning.
that's great. I love y'all.
Thank
Thank you.
A mattress can play a big